Have you heard about victory columns? These columns that we find across the realm that are remnants from the Tartarian age. And they seem to look like they could be airship moors or, mooring masts, airports, whatever we want to call them. Basically, the infrastructure for old world travel. So today I want to have a bit of a talk about victory columns and the connection to airship ports. Hi guys, how you going? Campbell here from AUTODIDACTIC. Hope you're having a fantastic day. And of course, AUTODIDACTIC means to be self-educated. And we need to be self-educated because if we're not, the only choice we have left is to believe what other people tell us. And they are clearly feeding us with BS. Because as we know, history is just his story. So victory columns. Victory columns are these huge towers that we find, in multiple countries across the realm. And we're told that they're monuments, right? They all have a statue on the top. And what was the victory? Well, we'll get into that. So make sure you stay tuned for the whole video. But basically, they share some striking similarities to each other and also to some buildings that we have photos of, like the Empire State, the Chrysler building, where we actually can see airships moored to the top of these buildings. And, they have the decks around them for passengers to board, to get cargo on board, etc., etc. So with these victory columns, they all have an entrance door at the base, and within them is a spiral staircase that goes all the way up to another door that leads out to what they call an observation deck at the top. And again, that we're just told that they're just these towers that were built, to honor different people. Now there's a statue on the top of them all. And so you walk up this massive spiral staircase just to get on the observation deck and have a look, I guess. But I'm pretty sure that narrative is false and they had a different use in the old world. So the whole design with the door at the bottom, the spiral staircase and the viewing deck makes me ask the question, what were they really used for? Because obviously we should question everything, and especially when it comes to history, right? So could they have been more than monuments? Were they in fact airship mooring masts of the Tartarian age? We've all seen the pictures, and we know that in Tartaria, airships ruled the skies, right? That was the preferred means of travel. And of course, today, thanks to the Zeppelin and that big false flag, that we're no longer allowed to use airships. We all have to go to airports, right? Use planes, go, have our ID and our passports and go through all this surveillance and all this other crap that they've brought into it, which of course, if we all had access to airships or our own airships, they wouldn't be able to enforce, because airships really give you freedom of travel, because they were, at least back in the day, as far as I can tell, they weren't part of multinational companies, they weren't controlled. And of course, today with aeroplanes, that it's completely controlled through the airports, and they also control all the airspace and tell us where they can fly. So basically where you can go and also what you can see out the window, apart from the fact that airplanes fly very high. So most of the time you can't see much of what's below you, right? But in an airship that, move a lot slower as well and have these viewing decks in them, you could go across the realm and you could see exactly what was underneath you. So aeroplanes, the introduction of aeroplanes and all the regulations that go along with it, basically can be used to hide the parts of the realm that they don't want us seeing or going to. So on the top of these victory towers, we find statues that symbolize victory or triumph. So the question is, what was the victory? What was the victory? Why are they victory towers? Does it maybe symbolize, just through the name, of the invasion, right? Of conquering and destroying the Tartarian age, right? Victory over Tartaria, victory over the old world. and introduction to a world that is now controlled and ruled. Why are they called victory towers? It's an interesting question, right? So what was the original use of these structures? Because like I said, they're, apart from the fact of how did they build them, because they're very tall and built very well, very solidly, just like all the old world buildings. And we don't have any construction photos, of course, again, but we do have pictures of these victory towers showing us that they do have staircases inside of them, right? A door at the top, a door at the bottom. So it's basically a tower just made to get you high off the ground. And were these statues added later? Was there originally mooring masts up there that the airships could tie up to, right? And take on passengers, let other passengers leave and basically get up and down from the ground, because that is what they look like. And like I said earlier, we have pictures of buildings like the Empire State Building, the Chrysler Building, and other, skyscrapers from the early 20th century that have spires on top of them that look like they were made to accommodate airships. But we also have the photographic evidence of airships actually docked at these sites, which suggests that, again, we're being lied to. And these towers and also the buildings were actually used as airship mooring points, right? The airports of the old world. So by renaming and repurposing these victory towers from airship docking stations, it gives governments and the ruling class control over our skies. Like I said, it controls where we can go, what we can see. And of course, we know by studying aeroplanes that there are flight paths, right, that they can't deviate from. And we're definitely not allowed to fly across the Pacific. We're not allowed to go south to Antarctica or north to the Arctic. So all of our air travel is now controlled. And of course, so is ground travel, right? With countries, with borders, passports, all this other type of stuff. So it's all a consolidation of power to keep us hemmed in, to keep us in the world that they want us to believe that we're on, right? The globe, right? The globe where there's nothing left to discover. But I think we all are aware at this point that there is actually more to discover, especially north and south. But there may even be other lands within the Earth that we're on, right? Out in the Pacific. There's plenty of places there could be other lands that are inhabited, but because they control the airspace, we don't know about them because we can't go there. And it's also worthy to note of the rapid advancement in airplane technology, because by the time of World War One, which started in 1912, we had aeroplanes that were dogfighting, right? These bi-winged planes. And, we had lots of them, right? They were used in the war. They were all in the skies, flying around, shooting each other down. And that was just 9 years after the Kitty Hawk flew. I think they say it was like 30 meters or something on the beach with the Wright brothers. So how did we get from that, like the first powered flight, to these planes, that were mass produced and flying around in the sky, basically for war, right? Which is, again, what they turn all technology into, is a control system, a control mechanism. And war is one of the biggest control mechanisms because it induces fear. It's also a form of MK Ultra, and it makes the population very subservient because they give us this narrative of you've got to do this or you've got to do that, to survive, right? To get through so you don't die. And also division, right? That other country, those other people are bad. They're now your enemy. So, let's go and unalive them all. So these victory columns were probably once serving as airship mooring masts. And now they've been turned into monuments to a past victory, right? Victory columns. Whose victory, right? Again, what was the victory? Was it the victory of the nefarious ones over the old world, of the control system over a free world? A victory of history, where they control the narrative? Because that's definitely what we see when we start to research history, or as I call it, his story. because these towers have all the architectural features of Tartarian architecture. And so they definitely make us question what their original true purpose was. And they all look like they were built in the age of Tartaria, right? In the freer world, the world of free energy that we were getting from the ether and free travel across the realm, a realm that was ours, right? Ours to travel, ours to explore. And after their victory, when they take control of all these and they wipe out the airships, then they're now controlling the airspace, they're controlling our travel, and so they're controlling our perception of the world that we inhabit by doing that. So let me know your thoughts below. What do you think? Were these victory towers alongside the skyscrapers, the tall buildings like the Empire State, were they all part of an ancient or old world Tartarian air travel system, basically serving as the airports of the old world? Because, you know, when you look into these towers, it definitely looks like that would be the case. They definitely do not look like they were built just to put a statue on the top and an observation deck that people can look from, because, you know, most of these are pretty tall, so you can't actually see the statues very well from the ground. So the whole sort of narrative doesn't really make sense. But to me, what makes more sense is that they were old world airship docking stations. So again, let me know your thoughts below. What do you think? Were they airship docking stations? And what was the victory? Was the victory the parasites over the old world? Because that, to me, is definitely what it looks like. So please leave me a comment, leave me a like, share this video around, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, if you like this content, so that you'll be notified when I upload new videos. And thanks for spending some time with me. Stay awesome, and I'll talk to you all on the next upload. Bye for now.
Remember, in the end, nobody wins unless everybody wins.